Hey everyone, welcome back to the Webull tutorial series. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full tutorial of their desktop app, going through everything step by step so you guys feel more comfortable navigating, placing trades, and just have an overall better idea of what you can do in there. Now, when you actually open up the Webull desktop platform, you're going to see a screen that looks a whole lot like this. All the navigational tabs are going to be on the left-hand side over here, and those are going to include things like watch lists, stocks, markets, screeners, a customized page where you can customize your screen a little bit more, your actual accounts tab to show you an idea of what's actually going on in your account, and then a tab to actually trade in paper money to get some practice in. Now, we'll be going through each one of these in today's video, so it might be a little bit of a long one. If you guys need to jump ahead to a specific section, I'll be posting timestamps down below in the description, so feel free to jump ahead if you need to. Now, starting off at the very top, you can see I'm already on the Watchlist tab. And this tab pretty much speaks for itself. It is a watch list, so you can keep track of the companies that you find important, that you want to keep track of. Up at the top of this page, you can see all of the watch lists I've created, whether it be recently viewed, so these are just the recently viewed stocks in my account, my current positions, and currently I just have SWM. It was one of those promotional stocks. Right next to that, you can see some watch lists I've actually created, all stocks, active, and a watch list called options. Now on this page, you can also see column headers up here at the top that shows me a whole lot of information about these companies I'm looking at. So first off, you can see the symbol, Facebook. You can see the name of that company is now Meta Platforms. You can see they last traded at 340.89. They were up 13.15 on Friday, and that was a total move of over 4%. Now there's a lot more info in here we're not necessarily going to get into, but we are going to talk about how to actually create your own watch lists on here. Now to do that, all we have to do is come over here to the far right-hand side in the top right-hand corner. From there, you just got to click on those three little lines, then come down to the Edit Watchlist button. When you click on that and open up this little drop-down window, you're going to see all of the watch lists I've already created on the left-hand side. My positions, all stocks, active, and options. Now from here, we could rename the name of our watch list or add additional symbols if we wanted to. But in this case, I just want to add a whole new one. So we're going to come down here to Add a Watch List. From there, we'll just go ahead and give it a name. In this case, I'll just name it Test, since this is just for practice purposes. We'll go ahead and hit OK here. And now we can see that new watch list on the left-hand side. Since I want to go ahead and add some symbols, we'll go ahead and click on it. And to add symbols, all we have to do is come down here to the Add Symbol button. From there, we can now begin starting adding our symbols. So in this case, let's go ahead and add Facebook again. So FB, we'll go ahead and click on it in here. We're also going to add SoFi. So we'll go ahead and type in SOFI. Go ahead and click on it in the list here. And lastly, we'll go ahead and add Micron. So MU, find it in the list, and there we go. Now, if we did want to rename the name of this watch list, we could simply come over here, click on this little edit button, and let's just rename it Test 1 and hit OK. And that's really all you have to do to create your own watch list or add symbols to a previous watch list or rename a watch list. Once we're done with that, we'll just go ahead and hit Done. And now at the top, we can see our additional watch list, Test 1, and if we click on it, we can see those three symbols we added. Now, what we can also do from this page is change the information that's being displayed up here at the top. We can either keep this stuff, or we can add things that we might find more important. So let's say we want to do that. We'll come over here to the left-hand side, click on these three little lines next to symbol. From there, you can see all of the current items I have on this watch list over here on the right. And it's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of info in there, and if I wanted to get rid of some of that, I could just uncheck it. So we're getting rid of settlement price, we're getting rid of delta, break even, implied volatility. And if we wanted to add new things, we could come over here to the left and start scrolling through this list. Maybe there's something in here that we actually do want to see. Let's say we wanted to see price to book ratio. We could go ahead and click on that. And now we can see it added at the bottom of the list here. And if we look over here on the right, we can see that it's been added, price to book, and the information down below. Now, if we're happy with that, we could simply go ahead and hit Done. And now going forward, all this information has been changed. Now, another cool thing we could do is actually look at some of these watch lists simultaneously. So let's say we wanted to have Test 1 on the left and Options on the right. What we could do is come over here to the three little lines, go ahead and click on it. From there, I want to go ahead and add a widget. And the one I'm going to add is actually a watch list widget. So we'll go ahead and click on Watch List. From there, you can see it actually added a second tab up at the top. So I've got my first watch list page and my second watch list page. Now, I didn't actually want it to look like this. I wanted them to be side by side visually. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and click on this and drag it down. And when you drag it down, you're going to see this weird little box in the center with like arrows on either side of it. You can then use this to actually drag your watch list or drag your tab wherever you want it to be visually. So in my case, I want it to be to the right of my first watch list. So we're going to come down here and put it to the right-hand side. We're just going to drag it down there and then let go. Now you can see that they are actually side by side. They're kind of squished, so we're going to go ahead and give it a little bit more space. And there we go. I now have my test one watch list on the left and my current positions on the right, but I could go ahead and switch that to options if I wanted to. And now I can look at multiple watch lists simultaneously if I needed to. Now, obviously, the downside with this is I can't see all of those headers that I could see before, like price to book ratio and PE ratio. It's kind of hidden now, but I just wanted to point this out in case this is ever something you guys want to do on your side. Now, that pretty much wraps things up for the watch list page. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. This is where you create watch lists, keep track of companies, and maybe quickly see some relevant info about those companies, but it's pretty straightforward. Next up, let's go ahead and head over to the stocks page. So it's the second one down in the list there. From here, you can see a lot of information. You can see I currently have a chart open over here. I've also got some stock info up here, things like PE ratio of the company I'm looking at, its last traded price. I've also got a trade window, an active trader. I've even got time and sales down here if I flip to it. So there is a lot of information on this page to go over and a lot of customization you can make to it. Now, starting with the top, you can see up here in the upper left, I currently have a chart open, but this can be changed to pretty much anything you want to see. So up here, you can see I'm currently marked chart, but I could switch over to the option chain. I could switch over to a notepad. I could go to news, financials, analysts. There's a whole lot of tabs of different information up here that you can quickly go to, but the ones you're probably going to be using most often are going to be the charts tab and the options tab. Now, starting with the chart, this is going to be the same for all the charts everywhere else on the platform. There's a lot of things that you can do to customize this. But before getting too deep into it, first off, let's look at the time frame we're looking at. Currently, we've got a 1-minute chart pulled up, and you can see I've currently got it highlighted down here below. Now, what that means is each one of these green and red candles you see on your chart represent 1 minute of trading. If we wanted to switch the aggregation period to be maybe 5 minutes, when we click on 5 minutes, now each one of these green and red candles represents 5 minutes of trading. If we were to click on 1 hour, each candlestick now represents an hour. Day, each candle represents a day. And we could very quickly toggle through each one of those if we needed to. Now, going back to 1 minute for a second, you can currently see on this chart the after hours has got this like blue shaded background. The regular market session has more of a black background. You could also zoom in by using the little scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in or to zoom out. You could also drag left or right to go back in time or closer to the current time period. Webull also offers a few different studies that you could also add. Those are up here at the top, and you could edit those, but for right now, you can see things like the moving averages, the Bollinger Bands, VWAP, MACD, RSI, and volume. If you wanted to edit those, we could simply click on Edit over here. It then brings up a little indicator setting menu. This is where we could change the settings for each one of these moving averages or each one of these RSIs, whatever we wanted to change. Now, right now, you can see I do not have moving average selected, but you can see I have the lengths slightly updated. My first length is 50, second is 200, which means this is a 50-period moving average. This is the 200-period moving average. Now, we won't get too deep into this, but you can customize all of these settings in here. I'll probably save this for a later video. But let's say we wanted to also add the 100-day moving average. We'll go ahead and delete this number 20 and type in 100 here. Let's also change the style of each one of these lines. Currently, you can see my 50-day moving average has a light blue line. My 200 moving average has like this yellowish goldish line. And if we wanted the 100 moving average to be like a, let's say, light purple or pink, and we'll go ahead and hit OK. Now that each one of these are selected, you can see they're all checkmarked. If I go ahead and hit done here, if I actually click on moving average up here in the top left, all three of those lines are going to be added. My 50, my 200, and my 100-period moving averages. Now, you can do the same thing to all of the studies that are available on Webull. You can tailor them, you can adjust their appearance, but all of that is going to be done under the Edit tab. Now, getting out of that for a second, you can also access drawing tools on here, so draw trend lines. If we wanted to access that, we'll simply click on the little pencil icon up here in the upper left-hand corner. From there, you can see your drawing tools available to you. Now, the only one we're going to go over today is actually the trend line, because it's the only one I think you're going to use on a daily basis, so we'll go ahead and click on that. From there, you now have the ability to create your 2 anchor points for your trend line. So let's zoom out a little bit. Let's find a point that we want to draw this. And what we're going to do is find our 2 points. So let's say we wanted to start the line up here at the very top. We'll go ahead and click there. We then need to come down and find the second anchor point. Let's say we just wanted to throw it over here in the blank empty space. So we'll just go ahead and click again. And now you've got a trend line on your chart. Now to delete that, all we have to do is go ahead and click on it and click on this little trash can up here in the upper right-hand corner. Now, moving off the charts page for a second, up in the top right, you can also see some more info about the company we're looking at. Now, currently we're looking at AMD. You can see it last traded at 147.89. You can see it currently has a trailing 12-month period PE of 460, forward PE of 56. We can see its 52-week high has been 155, its low has been 72. But anyways, we can just see a lot of stock info up here at the top. Below that are actually a few different ways to place trades on here. You've got the trade buttons, and this is pretty straightforward. If you wanted to buy stock in this platform, you would simply leave it selected on buy. Right below that, you do have the order type, the type of order you can use. Right now it's set to a limit order, which just means we're specifying a price. If you wanted your order to fill immediately and you were willing to take whatever the next best price was, you could click on this and change it to a market order. From there, you just need to tell them how many shares you want to buy. So right now I've got 10 in there. Let's say I wanted to buy 20. We'll go ahead and throw in 20 here. I'm going to leave the time in force as day, which simply means how long do you want this order good for. A day order is simply good from 8:30 a.m. Central to 3 p.m. Central. Doesn't fill by 3 p.m., it'll just go ahead and cancel itself. Now in the case of a market order, that doesn't really make any sense. It's going to fill immediately, so we don't have to worry about it not filling. However, if we change this back to limit, and we now specified a price. Let's say we said we only wanted to buy AMD if it dropped down to 145. We'll go ahead and throw 145 in there. We could also make this, instead of being a day order, so if it doesn't fill today, try again tomorrow. Doesn't fill tomorrow, try again the next day. That would be GTC, or good until canceled. And we also have it turned on for the extended session. So this order is not only going to be good for the regular market hours, it's going to be good for the pre-market, post-market, and regular market. Now I talk about how to create advanced orders or OCO brackets in a separate video. I'll link it here so you guys can check that out, but that's what these little buttons are for. That's if you wanted to put a stop order in or a profit-taking order in right along with the opening trade. But since we don't want to do that, we would simply come down here and click on the Buy AMD button. And what we're essentially saying is we want to buy 20 shares of AMD at 145, and we want that order to be good until canceled plus the extended session. If this order were to fill, it would cost us a total of $2,900. And again, all you'd have to hit is Buy AMD. Now there are a few other ways to do this on this platform. One way is by coming down here to the Order Entry button. You could simply click on New Order down here. From here, you've got an order ticket that looks probably more similar to some other platforms out there where you could then say, how many shares of AMD do you want to buy? So again, if we wanted to change this from 10 to 20, we would just type in 20 in here. We've got the order type box. So right now it's a limit order, but we could use a market, a stop limit, whatever we wanted to use. We could then put in the limit price that we wanted to buy it for. And then when we're ready, we would just hit place order. To delete this, if you didn't actually want to place it, you would just right click and say delete this order. You could also do this from the chart itself by simply right-clicking up here and saying create a new order. From there, it just generates that same order ticket down below, but it puts the price in wherever we right-clicked. Now, like I said before, there's a lot of other info on this page. You've got time and sales, which are all the trades that have actually happened. So somebody bought 500 shares at 147.75, somebody bought 50 at 147.75, and you got a whole lot of other trades right below that. But you've also got your current position. So right here, you can see I've got 1 share of SWN. I don't currently have any open orders, but they would show up right down here in the lower right. And you can customize this page however you see fit. For whatever information you want to have, you can always adjust this. If you ever wanted to do that, you simply have to come up here to the upper right-hand corner, click on those 3 little lines. From there, you can add a widget just like before on the watch list page. To take a look at all the widgets that are available, you just got to come down here to all widgets. Go ahead and click on that. From there, you got this little pop-up window, and it's got a long list of different things you could add. Let's say we also wanted to add key statistics information right next to our time and sales. We can go ahead and click on that. Go ahead and click on the little plus sign here, and you can see a little pop-up window just showed up right here for SWN. All we'd have to do is actually drag this little pop-up window where we want it. So if we wanted it to be the right of this one, or just along with it, we could just drop it right here, exit out of this, and now we've got the key statistics right next to time and sales and vol analysis. So you can see there is a lot of customization available to you on Webull, and it'll just take a little bit of practice getting things set up exactly the way you like to see it. Now, before moving on from this page, let's take a look at the options, because I'm sure there's a lot of options traders out there watching this video. If you come up here to the options tab, this is where we can see all of the available contracts, all of the available expirations available for AMD in this case. Now to start off with, let's go ahead and minimize the 19th of November for a second, and now we can see all of the available expirations. It first lists the date of expiration, so 17 December of 2021. Right next to it, it's telling you it's a standard contract controlling 100 shares of the stock. And to the right of that, in the middle, is the number of days until expiration. So 17 December is 33 days from now. Now, if you decided to trade that expiration, all you have to do is click on it to open up the option chain. From there, you can see all of the available strikes down here below. Just like every other platform I've ever used, you've got the calls on the left-hand side, you've got the puts on the right-hand side. The in-the-money options are going to be highlighted in green. The out-of-the-money options are going to have the black background. Anytime you want to buy an option in this platform, you simply have to click on the Ask to Buy and the Bid to Sell. So let's say for a second you wanted to buy the 125 puts. Well, remember, the puts are on the right-hand side, so we can see they are currently trading for $1.17 by $1.13. If we wanted to buy that option, we simply need to click on the asking price, $1.17. And now down below in the order entry window, we can see we're about to buy a single leg option on AMD, the 125 strike for the 17 December expiration. It's a put. We're about to buy 10 contracts at $1.17 each. Now remember, since each contract controls 100 shares of the stock, this would cost us $117 per contract. So in total, across 10 contracts, that'd be $1,117. If we didn't want to do the math ourselves, we could simply come down to Options BP, click on these little lines, and it would tell us the total cost of this trade. Right here, you can see $1,170 is the total cost. If we actually wanted to place this, we would simply click Place Order, and that's how you trade options in here. Again, I do have a more in-depth video on this, which I'll link to this page as well if you want to get a little bit more in-depth tutorial on how to trade options in here, but that's the basics. Now moving on from here, let's go to the Market tab next. This page is mainly just a snapshot of what is going on in the market right now. And this is exactly how it's going to look when you first open up your platform. I haven't made any changes to it. Up here in the top left, you can see what the S&P 500 is trading for, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ. And like you just saw, if you click on it, it does highlight the NASDAQ in this case. If I click on Dow Jones, it'll highlight Dow Jones. And you can see that they do move together most of the time. But this just gives us a snapshot of the overall market. How is the S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ doing today? Right below that, you can see the top gainers and top losers in the markets today. And you could very easily toggle between those if you did want to see it. Below that, you can see a little heat map, which gives you a nice little picture on how things are doing today. We can see Alibaba was having a terrible day on Friday. It was down 0.62%. Go to the right of that and look at CRM or Salesforce. They had a great day, up 1.21%. And you could also tailor this by the industry you wanted to look at. So if we wanted to look at diversified retail, we could go ahead and click on that. And we can see it breaks it down to retail-only companies: Amazon, Costco, Target, TJ Maxx, that kind of stuff. Now, just like before, this page can be customized. I do think it's fine the way that it is. It is just giving you a snapshot of the overall market, biggest losers, gainers, things towards their high or low for the year. And you can also see news up here in the top right. If you wanted to be made aware of any big news items that have come out about any of the stocks that you're keeping track of, this is a good way to check it. But I don't think you need to edit it. You can, but I don't really think you need to. You can leave it just like this. And moving on from this tab, if we come over here to the screener, this can be used to filter out the thousands of companies out there to hopefully help you find something that you want to trade today. Now, currently, some of the filters you can see I've got on here are the companies have to be trading in the United States across all exchanges. They have to be worth at least $1.3 billion to a max of $5.6 billion. But I could raise that if I wanted to. Maybe I'm willing to trade companies all the way up to the max. So the largest company out there would be, I think, Microsoft at this point is probably worth $2.5 trillion. But you can see there are still a lot of results in this list over here on the right. So what we could do is start narrowing it down. We could click on filter up here at the top. And let's say we wanted to filter by PE as well as return on equity. And we also wanted it to pay a dividend. So we'll go ahead and click on dividends here. Now from here, we could start to edit. Let's say we wanted to have a PE ratio between 0, so at least it had some profit this past year, and all the way up to 30. Now 30 is still fairly high, but it's nowhere near something like a Tesla, which is plus 400, or something like a Salesforce, which probably is like 100 or something right now. So it's a little bit more reasonable in price, so 0 to 30. We're also going to change the dividends. We'll do down to 0.5 up to, we'll leave it at 5.2. We'll come down here to return on equity. Let's set that to 0 all the way up to, we'll say 20%. Now, currently, I don't have a single result. It's probably got a lot to do with PE. Let's go ahead and bump this up from 30. We'll even jump it up all the way to 100. So pretty high growth companies. And currently, you can see there's only one matching stock, PNC. You can see up here it's currently trading for $203.61. It was down almost $2 on Friday, but it does meet all of our criteria. And this is simply how you can use these scanners or screeners. There's not a whole lot to it. There's not that many filters that you can use. It's not like Thinkorswim where you can practically scan for anything you could possibly want to scan for. It's a little bit more limited to that, but I still like it quite a bit. It's very easy to use. Just give it a shot on your own end, and I'm sure you'll get the hang of it pretty quick. Now, moving on from here, let's go down to the Customize page for a second. Now, this page, you should notice, looks a whole lot like the Stocks page, which we're on just a little while ago. Really, the only difference with this is the fact that I can create multiple different pages that I could quickly toggle through. So different layouts. Maybe you create a layout for trading crypto, or a layout for trading stock, or for options. You can really tailor this thing to however you want to have it set up for whatever product you want to set it up for. Now, because of that, because it's so customizable, it's kind of a pain to set it up exactly the way that you like it. That's going to take a little bit of time on your end to set it up exactly right. But once you have it set up, you can just quickly toggle through these layouts up here at the top. And when you want to trade options, just go to the options trader layout or whatever you name it. And then you've got the option chain here like you like it, or the chart over here, however you like it set up. And you're going to use these tabs just like on the stocks profile page, so we won't spend a whole lot of time here. Mostly just wanted you to know how to create multiple layouts. Now to do that, all you have to do is click on this little plus sign up here in the top right. From there, you're going to see a default set of layouts, ones that you kind of copy if you wanted to. Or you could say blank layout. So you basically just have a blank screen, a blank layout for you to start fresh. A blank canvas for you to work off of. So let's say we wanted to add a chart. We'll go ahead and add the chart widget right here. From there, you can see it goes in the upper left-hand corner. Let's say we wanted to make it a little bit bigger. We'll go ahead and drag that to the right size. Let's also say we wanted some trading buttons. So let's go to trade. We're going to add order entry here. And I don't like it here, so I'm going to go ahead and drag it right below my chart, maybe fit it in there a little bit better. And let's say I also wanted to know the current positions in my account. So we'll go ahead and click on positions here. And now I can see everything I've got, only one share of SWN. I could also add orders so I can keep track of all the orders I have open in the account. We'll go ahead and fit that in there. Now I won't bore you. You can see how customizable this thing is. You can really drag and drop things however you want it. And you can make it look just like that stocks page if you really wanted to. We could put the options up here next to the chart, just like we did before. So if I click on options here, I'm going to go ahead and drag this up here right next to charts. And you can see now I can click on these little tabs and move back and forth if I wanted to. So just take a little bit of time to set it up exactly the way that you like it, and then you'll be all set for the future. Now from there, we're next going to go to the Accounts tab. Now again, I have not customized this at all. This is mostly just a snapshot of what is going on in your account right now. So in the top left, you can see the total value of your account. Mine basically has nothing in it, $10.53. You can see how much buying power I have, how much cash I have. You can see how much I have invested in cash or stocks or options. You can also look over to the right and see all the open orders I currently have or the positions I'm currently holding. Basically, it's just a breakdown of what is going on in your account right now. So again, I don't think you need to edit this. I think this is perfectly fine the way that it is. But if you ever want to, you edit it the exact same way you edit everything else. Click on the three little lines in the upper right-hand corner, add a widget, and then just find the widget you want to add and put it where you want it. Now, the last tab on here is going to be the paper money side of things, or the paper trading. This is going to allow you to practice your trading during market hours. Now, the downside with this is it's only for stock. You can't practice options, you can't practice crypto, but I still think it's great for getting started and kind of learning how to use this platform a little bit better. And you're going to use it just like anything else. If you wanted to trade, let's say, Micron, we just come up here to where it says Apple, type in MU in this case, just go ahead and click on it in the list there. And now we've got a chart for Micron here, time and sales, the order entry tab down here. If we were to go ahead and place a trade to buy 10 shares with a limit price of $77.52, we would just hit simulated buy. And this way we can practice our trading without risking our own money. Now the other tabs on here, the honorable mentions, if you come down here to Learning Center and you click on that, it is going to open up more tutorial videos if you want to learn a little bit more that we didn't cover today. You can just quickly go through all of these. The next one down is the Contact Us page if you needed to contact Webull with any of your questions. And the final one, the one at the very bottom, the Settings button. This is where you can go to actually change the overall appearance of your platform. Like right here up at the top, we've got the General tab. Right now you can see I'm using this theme, but if I clicked on the white theme, you can then see it changes the overall theme of the platform. And if I wanted to go back, I would simply click on this theme to go back. I could also change the font size if I wanted it to be a little bit bigger, maybe change it to medium. Won't do that in this case because I don't want to reset everything. I could get rid of these top bars if I didn't want them to be up there at the top at all times. And I could also create hotkeys from here as well if I wanted to. You could see down here below there are already hotkeys made for certain things like refresh is Control R, move to favorite layout is Control 1. But if we scroll down, we could see some other ones that aren't set up yet that we could actually create to, let's say, draw a text. We could maybe make that Control A, and every time I do that, it's going to draw a text or draw a rectangle, whatever drawing tool you wanted to use. I could also change my trade defaults if I came here to trade. My current default is a limit order to buy 10 shares. Maybe I wanted that default to always be 100 shares because I'm trading a little bit higher of a quantity. Change that to 100. I could also change my default option quantity. I'm not typically trading 10 at a time. Let's say I'm only trading 1 at a time. Go ahead and change that from 10 to 1. And you can see there are a few other settings you could change down here, but nothing that important. So if I was happy with that, we just go ahead and exit out of here. And now all my settings are saved. Now I know we went through that very, very quickly, but I hope it answered all or most of your questions about the Webull platform. If I miss anything or you guys have any additional questions, please leave them down below in the comments. I did mention a few times throughout the video that I have made some more specific videos that go more in depth about certain tools like charts customization or trading options in here. So feel free to check out my Webull tutorial playlist if you guys want to watch some of those. But we'll go ahead and wrap the video up here. I hope this helped. If it did, please hit that like button. Let's all try and make some money this week, and I'll catch you all in the next video.